This video is designed to demonstrate brush painting techniques using Altex Elite 321 brushing polyurethane. Brush painting is a cost-effective way to paint your boat, whilst giving you a high-quality and durable marine coating. It is a great way for even the DIY painter to achieve professional results. The first step before preparing your boat is to remove as many fittings as you can. Unscrew all eyelets, cleats, frames and rubbing strips. The more of these that can be removed, the better. Next, clean the entire surface to remove salts by water blasting or with clear water and rags. Ensure you replace water frequently. Use C50 surface cleaner to remove light oils, diesel and other contaminants. If the paintwork has been waxed, you will need to use Altex D30 degreaser dewaxer. Now the boat is clean and free of contaminants, you're ready to machine sand with an orbital sander. You'll also need sanding blocks for the detailed areas, such as the bow and the stern. Sand sound-painted surfaces and render to a matte finish with a clearly discernible profile. Different sandpaper will be needed for the exterior of different jobs, but typically the grade would be between 80 and 220 grit. De-dust with either clean compressed air, vacuum, or use a clean soft bristle brush and/or freshwater rinsing. Once the sanded area is fully complete, apply Altex Epoxy 1:1 spot filler to all damaged areas or uneven surfaces. Slightly overfill the area to ensure sufficient product has been applied. Be really thorough and look over all the detailed areas, such as the bow, the fittings, the stern, and identify any damage that the boat may have sustained over the years of use. Double check to ensure you find all these areas before you apply the undercoat. Once the filler is cured, sand all spot fills off with your machine sander. Check smoothness with the palm of your hand so you can compare the spot fill with the existing surface of the hull you are painting. Wipe all surfaces down with C50 surface cleaner using clean rags. Use the 2-rag method, one rag to apply and clean, the other to remove the solvent and dust. Now that you've wiped the surface, you're ready to mask in preparation for painting. Apply masking tape to mask out those areas you do not want fresh paint applied to. Put 2 layers of tape on at the lowest points to catch any drips. When masking your waterline, make sure your first tape is straight and evenly applied. Before you start painting, break the surface down into different areas so that you can paint to set points, edges or other natural stop points. Mix the base portion of the undercoat thoroughly, making sure no heavy material remains on the bottom of the tin. After mixing, measure the volume required accurately. Add the part B and continue to mix until the 2 parts are evenly mixed. New rollers are full of loose fluff. While the paint is resting, use masking tape to remove the excess fluff. To begin, brush paint all your detail areas. This will ensure coverage of the whole entire surface. Then roll applicate your paint from top to bottom in even strokes and look for the edges to be nice and smooth so you don't get striping down the whole surface. Keep your eye out for bubbles. You don't want bubbles in the paint as they will come through in your top coat paint once it's finished. The single most important technique when painting the hull is to keep a wet edge. Do not cut in too far ahead of where you are painting. Brush apply to the mast gunwale line, no more than 400 to 500 millimeters along, as well as any fittings in the same half square meter or so. Roll or apply a coat to the entire area. Tip the surface off with a brush in order to flatten out the paint, which will make for easier sanding. The job can be done by one person, but it's much easier with 2. The first person will need to roll out the paint in order for the second person to come along and tip off. Make sure you apply an even thickness of paint by consistently reloading the roller with fresh paint. Work your way along the hull in suitably sized sections so that the paint edge stays wet. Once the first coat is complete and firmly touch dry, follow through with a second, slightly thicker coat to achieve a suitable film thickness. 2 to 3 coats are usually required. Allow to cure overnight. Once the undercoat is fully cured, apply guide coat to the entire surface. This allows you to see where you have sanded and where more sanding is required. Sand the entire surface to remove all of the guide coat. We recommend using 280 to 320 grit sandpaper, either hand or machine sanding. The sanded surface should be free of any guide coat. This shows you that the surface is very smooth and flat. Take extra care on areas such as the bow and stern, and make sure you're not breaking through into the timber or older primer. At this stage, it's your perfect chance to detail the surface and get your last final spot fills. Fill the areas you'd like to detail. Once the filler is cured, sand again using the same grit sandpaper. Give the surface a final wipe down before top coat application. Mix the base portion thoroughly, making sure no heavy material remains on the bottom of the tin. After mixing, measure the volume required accurately. Add the part B and continue to mix until the two parts are evenly mixed. Like undercoating, brush your detail areas first and then apply your full coat of paint to the exterior surface. A great technique is to first apply the paint on and load up the area, using the sideways motion, and then finish with an up and down motion. This allows the paint to spread evenly and achieve the same result over the whole entire boat. You can tip off with a brush. Allow to cure overnight. You will need 2 or more coats to achieve the high quality finish that you are after. For best results, Scotch-Brite the boat with a fine Scotch-Brite, in between the first, second and third coat if needed. Ensure you de-dust after lightly sanding. Keep an eye on the gloss levels and make sure there are no dry spots and that the roller or the brush has met in with all the other painted areas. This is going to give you the even result that you're after. Don't be concerned if the paint looks rough at first, as the final product will flow and smooth out to achieve maximum gloss levels. For further information on temperatures, weather conditions, thinning and dry times, refer to our product data sheet available at altexboatpaint.com, or alternatively, contact us toll-free within Australia or New Zealand.